universo es una especie de máquina ajustada a la perfección. La ciencia afirma que hay unas 20 cifras. 20 constantes fundamentales de la naturaleza que confieren al universo las características que vemos hoy en día. Se trata de cifras que indican la masa de los electrones, o las fuerzas de la gravedad, la electromagnética, la nuclear fuerte y la débil. Mientras los mandos de nuestra máquina estén ajustados a los valores exactos de cada una de las 20 cifras, obtendremos el universo que conocemos y amamos. Pero si variamos las cantidades retocando los ajustes, aunque solo sea un poco, las consecuencias serán dramáticas. Por ejemplo, si aumentara la fuerza electromagnética, los átomos se repelerían con mayor energía. Y las fuerzas nucleares que hacen que las estrellas brillen se agotarían. Las estrellas, incluido el Sol, se extinguirían haciendo desaparecer a nuestro universo. ¿Qué es lo que ajusta las cifras de estas 20 constantes con tanta precisión?
If you go into a clothing store, you don't think it's strange to find something that fits you. If there are enough different sizes, something is bound to be just right. We live in a universe that's just right. Is this because it's been designed for us? Or are there a huge number of universes and one of them is bound to fit? God or the multiverse?
Somebody who writes about these things, and I found very helpful, is a philosopher called John Leslie. He tells a story about an execution. You are about to be shot, your eyes are bandaged, there are 50 highly trained marksmen pointing rifles at your chest, the shots ring out, you find you have survived. Now, of course, what do? Do you just stroll away saying, gee, that was a close one? Of course, if you hadn't survived, you wouldn't be in a position to say anything at all. But it's so remarkable a fact that you survived the execution, that surely the only rational thing is to say, well, maybe more was going on there than I realized. And so Leslie suggests there are really only two possible general explanations of your good fortune. One is maybe there are just lots and lots and lots of executions taking place today. And of course, even the best of marksmen occasionally miss. You happen to be in the one where they all miss. Now, of course, there had to be a lot of executions taking place today, but at least it's a rational possibility. But there's another rational possibility, which is that maybe there's only one execution today, namely yours, but more was going on in that than you were aware of. The marksmen were on your side, and they missed by design. Now, that charming story, that parable, if you like, translates into thinking about the fine-tuning of the universe. On the one hand, you could say, well, maybe there are just trillions and trillions and trillions of different universes, the multiverse, as people say, and we just happen to be the one which is suitable for carbon-based life. But the other possibility is that maybe there's only one universe, which the way it is, not because it's not any old world, but it's a creation which has been endowed by its creator with the finely tuned laws that will make its history fruitful.
So, God or the multiverse? The biggest problem for the multiverse is that there isn't any evidence for other universes.
The multiverse option is a very extravagant suggestion. It postulates the existence of all these trillions and trillions of universes, all unobservable by us, all different in their characters, and so very different that by chance one of them turns out to be okay for carbon-based life. Now, that's a very bold speculation, and it's certainly not a scientific theory. It's a metaphysical guess, as we might say. It goes beyond physics into some sort of philosophy, as of course does the idea that the universe is a creation in the same sort of way.
What if tomorrow scientists do discover evidence for a multiverse? Apparently this wouldn't necessarily account for the fine-tuning. Even an infinite number of universes doesn't guarantee that one of them will be just right for us.
Actually, even that wouldn't necessarily solve the fine-tuning problem. Simply by having a large or indeed an infinite array of universes, you couldn't be sure you'd get one that was right for life. I mean, for example, there are an infinite number of even numbers, but never in that collection will you find a number with the property of oddness. So it's not clear that having an infinite collection means you've got everything you might want.
So does cosmic fine-tuning point towards a creator, a God? For some scientists, this is an unwelcome conclusion. Is this why they prefer to believe in the multiverse, even without any evidence? For John Polkinghorne, the multiverse only explains the fine-tuning, but believing in a creator God explains a range of other things as well.
But I think that the multiverse is, first of all, a very uneconomic assumption to make. And secondly, it seems to me it only does one piece of explanatory work. It explains, or it explains away, the fine-tuning of our universe by saying we're just the winning ticket in the cosmic lottery. But I believe seeing the universe as a divine creation does lots of pieces of explanatory work. It not only explains the fine-tuning, explains why the universe is rationally beautiful with wonderful laws of nature. It explains our widely attested human experience of encounter with the sacred reality of God and so on. So there's a cumulative case for seeing the universe as a creation, which doesn't seem to me to have a counterpart on the multiverse side of the argument.
God or the multiverse? There isn't any evidence for the multiverse, and even if scientists do discover such evidence, it can't necessarily account for the fine-tuning. It seems as if one of the main reasons scientists choose to believe in the multiverse is to avoid having to believe in a creator. On the other hand, our experts agree that cosmic fine-tuning isn't a knockdown proof that God exists, but it is a clear pointer towards God's reality. Belief in such a creator can explain many other aspects of our lives, as well as fine-tuning. When we take it with other kinds of evidence, fine-tuning can form part of a cumulative case for God's reality. Space scientist Graham Swinnard was a skeptic until he started looking at the evidence from fine-tuning.
Yeah, I mean, this was not easy for me, because I spent most of my life, 50 years or so of my life, as an agnostic scientist, and it, you know, to come up with the notion, it's not a proof that God exists, but it kind of pointed in that direction very strongly for me. It seems all these arguments about fine-tuning currently are a challenge to the physics community. Why is it like this? And I mean, at the end of the day, I just felt that the simplest argument, or the simplest solution to this conundrum, was that there was a creator.
Our experts all agree that cosmic fine-tuning isn't a knockdown proof that God is there, but it is a pointer to God's reality, especially when we take it together with other kinds of evidence.
However, even if you give me the greatest success in making that argument, it will only give me a rather limited idea of the nature of God. It will show me a God who is, if you like, the architect of the universe, a God of great power and so on. But there are many other questions we will want to ask about God, because God cares about individual human beings and so on, which won't be answered by that type of argument. So I think it's useful and it's helpful, and I think it's a hint of the divine presence, but that's as far as it goes.